Unleashing a storm of violence and bloodshed, the war raging between the Crips and Bloods in South Central has etched its name in the annals of American history as one of the deadliest conflicts ever witnessed. Born from racial segregation and economic despair, these warring factions have exterminated each other for over 5 decades, driven solely by their affiliation with opposing sides. With neighborhoods gripped by poverty, absent fathers, and a relentless influx of drugs, the battle for control became an economic activity and a fight for survival. Let's talk about the evolution of the gang, the Crips. Beginning in the latter half of the 1800s with bandit gangs in the Wild West and corruption rings like those controlled by Boss Tweed, the history of organized crime in the United States is long and illustrious. When compared to today, the original crime organizations were much smaller and had far less influence than they do today. The implementation of Prohibition in 1920 brought about this shift in behavior. After the production and sale of alcoholic beverages was made illegal in the United States, numerous different groups set out to meet the huge demand that had been driven underground as a result of the new rule. In the past, some strong groups became important in the United States, like the Italian Mafia and the Irish Mob. These groups gained more power by taking over different parts of the alcohol business. Afterwards, they began doing more illegal things such as threatening people, selling drugs, and managing prostitution. Different jobs could make money, so groups tried to control each job to make more money than others. All of this paved the way for numerous contemporary criminal organizations, one of the most notorious of which is the Crips. An original gangster, OG, said that the Crips were just a social group, and most people agree with it. Source: Contos 99, 2003. The history of the Crips has had some ups and downs, but there are some things that always happen in their story. The real parts of the story aren't as exciting to watch on TV as the violent and deadly things that happen with the Crips. These are often exaggerated a lot. Some former Crips and gang members are upset about how the group is portrayed. They admit that the Crips have done bad things and changed from being activists to being gangsters. A friend of the person who founded the Crips, Deborah Addie Smith, has stated that she has always wished for someone to reveal the real tale of the Crips. The Crips were initially comprised of a group of African Americans with the goal of fighting back against the authority. They were upset about the police arresting, putting in jail, and killing young black people. This was happening because the police wanted to stop the Black Panther movement. The Crips started in 1969 in South Central Los Angeles, California, after the Black Panther organization was destroyed. They wanted to resist and fight for justice during a time when the black community felt hopeless and devastated. Raymond Washington is the one who started. He was a small guy who liked to fight but didn't like guns. But when the Crips started using guns and fighting with the Bloods, he stopped being involved with them. Sadly, he was later killed. Helping is admirable, but sometimes they struggle to follow through on their goals. Brown, 2011, said that the basic values were not allowed to happen. In 1972, 3 years after the group was formed, the Los Angeles Police Department said the group was getting more violent. But many people disagreed and said the group had not been violent yet. After being accused and panicked, the group would start working. We think the Crips are different from other groups that are seen as threats during moral panics. The Crips did not go away after the police or news tried to stop them. We believe that some people joined the Crips because they saw negative things about them in the media, like violence, killing, and stealing. Over time, this made new members think that those things were cool, and they wanted to be a part of them. When more new members joined, the group's values and behavior changed from being productive and active to being intimidating and like a gang. There could be other reasons for this change, besides how the media portrays it. A group that has been working towards social change through community involvement got tired of being ignored and lied to about their goals. They wanted less police harassment and fair treatment in all areas of society. When asking didn't work, they decided to use force to get what they wanted. In 1978, the group started giving out PCP, and later in 1980, they also started distributing crack. The group turned into a gang that scared people, and they stopped talking about making the world a better place. The Crips are a big street gang in the USA nowadays. The FBI and the Department of Justice say that there are over 35,000 members of this group in 48 states, divided into 800 sets. The Crips used to be very involved in social justice and activism, but not as much as they used to be. This is despite their reputation and actions as a gang. This video is about why the Crips gang exists. It is because of a lack of opportunities for people in certain social and economic situations. Most of the people in the Crips are young African American who don't have a lot of money. Robert Merton said that young, poor African American people who don't have the same opportunities as others are more likely to do things that are against the rules. Some researchers think that young people who feel like they won't get what they deserve from society might join gangs because they're frustrated. On the other hand, those who believe they'll get what they deserve might join clubs or groups like scouts or fraternities. When people who are struggling are held down and can't move up in society because of unfair systems in education, housing, and jobs, they will try to find other ways to succeed. Labeling theory is a theory that explains how people can be negatively affected by the labels that others give them. George Herbert Mead believed that how others see us affects how we see ourselves. This idea is important in labeling theory. The Crips used to have peaceful intentions in messaging, but now they are known for being violent. One reason for this change is how the media portrays things. They sometimes make things seem worse than they really are, and people might start to believe it. The way Crips members see themselves has changed over time, and the media has been portraying them for a while. People in charge often spread the idea that marginalized groups are dangerous to their power and status. Mead believed that these messages should become part of society and be accepted by everyone, even those who are marginalized. Cultural conflict theory is a theory that explains how conflicts arise between different cultures. Social reproduction can help us understand why the Crips exist and why they behave the way they do. Studies have found that young people who live in areas with a lot of crime and bad behavior might think that these things are normal. This can make them more likely to misbehave or commit crimes themselves because they don't realize it's wrong. This theory suggests that the reason why there is a lot of crime among the Crips is because many of its members are young people who come from poor families and live in areas with a lot of crime. This idea blames people instead of unfair systems. It suggests that crime happens because of cultural beliefs instead of unfair and discriminatory institutions, a theory that challenges traditional or mainstream ideas. Some people believe that the government is using the war on drugs and the war on gangs, along with related laws, to control and oppress those who are poor, belong to minority groups, or lack power. The theory suggests that the Crips were made to be criminals because a group trying to bring social change for justice for African Americans has negative consequences for those in power. This theory is based on a few ideas. In America, our way of life is based on a system called advanced capitalism. The government is set up to help the wealthy people who own businesses. Laws and law enforcement are designed to benefit those in power. People in power sometimes mistreat those who have less money. Socialism is the solution to crime in society. That's all for the video today. We will be right back with more. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.